Hello and welcome. My name is Game Master Sam. I've been in the tabletop scene since 1988, where I started playing Dungeons and Dragons. Introduced to it by my friend Rudy in Jack and Robinson Apartments in El Paso, Texas. Thanks, Rudy. I actually got interested in fantasy as a kid, watching the original Lord of the Rings on television back when the cartoons, because that's what they had back then. Um, Also, the movie Wizards, different things, Godzilla and Kung Fu Theater and all those things that we watched as kids back in the 70s and 80s. Star Blazers, Robotech, a lot of things like that. But my journey into fantasy began with Terry Brooks. Thank you, Terry, or Mr. Brooks, with Elfstones of Shannara. I found the books in that book in the library and just I was gone. I just loved it, and I read that thing straight through, listening to music every night, and it was just an amazing time. It opened a whole world for me. And then Rudy, who came in a couple of years after, introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons Blue Book, which I still own the book he gave me, which was a great gift that he passed on to me. From that, been playing D&D. I started as a player with him, and then when I moved to Cleveland from El Paso, or back to Cleveland from El Paso, I ran out of the encyclopedia the original Dragonlance. That was my first foray into dungeon mastering, which was a good time. Second edition, third, and 35. We don't talk about fourth, right? Okay. And then fifth edition, and the rest is history. I started DMing all over Cleveland, different places. Immortals Inc., the Superscript games. I ran Alien RPG there. I run games here in my house. I also run games online for people. If you're interested, go to startplaying.com, look up for GM Sam, and I have a Ravenloft campaign that I just started. I have a couple players in, and we have slots. We have 3 slots open. So if you're interested, look in the description. I'll have links there below. So I'm going to start this my first inaugural video with an unboxing of the Encounter in a Box. I bought it because I wanted to get some more of these Warlock tiles. I actually have a bunch. They're a really good product. A little pricey for some people. You can always 3D print your own, or you can just buy. So Warren Forge is outside of my price, big time. That last Kickstarter, they hit a 9. It's like 9, or they hit 4 million, I think. I'm not sure, or was that Zombicide? But either way, it's a lot of money, and to buy all the things out of Kickstarter was like $9,000. That's out of my league. So I wanted to get more of these Warlock tiles. So I bought this. And, I wanted to get the minis that are in here, not realizing that something different about them. But I'll get to that when I open it. So, that said, I'm going to open this box. And you saw that it was on sale. Freedom Gaming in North Canton, Ohio. Thank you, guys. So, it comes with tiles. Comes with the adventure. It comes with the minis, which I did not know that they were like this because I didn't read the box properly. Little standees here. So you have 3 of these jail keepers or rogues, however you want to play these guys. And they actually have one mini, which is a sheriff. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, beautifully painted. I'm probably going to rebase it, because it could use a bigger base. You also get a dog that's in the set, which I thought was pretty cool. A guard dog, or just random dog that somebody owns. And then this is supposed to be the prisoner, which I don't know why this lovely woman would be a prisoner. Who knows? And then you only get, when I say only, you get 3. You get 2 corner walls, and then a wall section here, and then you get 2 doors. Okay, so the way this works place these tiles down, and you have your wall section. And I'll show you this a little bit better in a second. So you have these, you have your doors, you know, and you have your wall section. So it's kind of cool, but you know, for that, you could have just done well with the tiles. Now the tiles are nice. I gotta admit, it's a heavy cardstock, real nice and thick. So if you can see it there, yeah. So it's a nice thick cardstock. The art is really well done. I really like that. I mean, you can see small details, rolled papers, inkwell there, I think, and handcuffs. There's a bookshelf right here, books on the top. There's this antler, a head of an animal, stuffed animal here, a sword. I mean, it's really nice. The ground out here. I mean, you see this cave here, this place. All these the loot, I guess you call it. You know, you have some crates, rolled leather, pickaxe, hammer. I mean, it's really nice cart there, oars. You know, I think that'll go to a boat, right? Yeah. And then here you have people playing cards. So this would be, I guess, the guards. And then the entrance and stairs. And I assume that this is that level because here's some chains here. So this must be the lower level. So how you would get there, you know, however they have it set up, because there's a wall there, so that's kind of blocked off. But you know, use your imagination. But this is nice. This part is really nice. The minis are nice. It comes with an adventure, you know, prison break. You know, before it was a jail, smugglers dug a tunnel into this building's root cellar. You know, and it has remained hidden from the public for decades. And when Sharon Osmond discovered it, she immediately recognized it as a business opportunity. She struck a deal with local smugglers and to set up a lucrative arrangement. So pretty cool, you know, crooked cop, let's go. You know, and so, you know, for $25, it's okay. You do get an adventure, so you get an encounter. If it's, you know, a couple of hours running this, it's kind of worth it, I think. Now I wish I would have got more, you know, more tiles, because, you know, the floor tiles are not included, which that would have been nice, even if it's just four tiles. I'm sure the price would have gone up, but for $30 with 4 tiles, I would have swung that, you know. But I did buy it. I will be using it. It is pretty cool. So, you know, you can get it from Miniature Market, get it from your local game store. Support your LGSs, guys, right? And yeah. So I'm gonna put this away, and I have one more unboxing. Something that I'm really excited about that I got recently. I actually had the PDF for a while. Oops, sorry. Here we go. And then I'll throw this in here. Always put your toys away, guys. It's easier to find later. Okay. So, yep. Lord of the Rings. Pretty excited when this came out. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Have been since I was a kid. I really enjoy the IP. I enjoy the stories. So much so that I have MERPs. I have Lord of the Rings adventure game. You can barely see it now. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. And I even invested in the Kickstarter for. Well, I got this through the Blade Runner. Well, let me back up. Adventures in Middle-earth, which I like it. It could be better. It's a little bit. I don't know. It's just there's something about it that I think it's made me because I play with a GM that wasn't the best, and the experience was soured. So, you know, I'll probably run this one day for someone and you know, have fun. And I invested in the One Ring, second edition, so that I can run that, you know, and for rulebook. So yeah, I'll show you some. Do a comparison of the books real quick. Yep. There we go. So just so you can see how big these books are. So the One Ring 5e, or excuse me, Lord of the Rings 5e, pretty thick book, about 237 pages. This one, actually, the 5e version is 230. This one's 237, and then this is the Lore Master's Guide and the Player's Book for the Adventures in the North. You can see that these two make up one of these. So basically, you have your Lore Master's Guide and your Player's Guide within the core rule books for both One Ring 2nd edition and for the 5e book. So the art is great on both of them. I really love it. But I'm going to stick to the 5e books. So we'll start with this here. Now, quick secret. When you're running streams, you're running recordings, make sure your mic works. Otherwise, you'll have a 40-minute video that's sitting there without any audio. Because these were sealed about 2 hours ago. So anyway, open this up. Rivendell. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's a homely house. In Lord of the Rings Online, you actually go to Rivendell. You come from Linden. If you're an elf, you come from the dwarf highlands. I'll show you them on a map later. And you travel east till you get to Rivendell. As the quests, actually, you play the books within Lord of the Rings Online, which is freaking phenomenal. However, the way it's done is that you're playing, so you have the main story, the Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. On the side, you have all these different quests that are happening concurrently. So you're basically supporting, because we know that things were happening in the world of the Lord of the Rings while the Fellowship was doing their thing. You know, Elrond, Arwen, all of those, all those people, and we know that things were happening at Skilliath, all those different places. So you're actually part of that story, and you play different books and chapters. And in that, you wind up in Rivendell, which is really, really cool. And another thing about Rivendell is that this is actually in the far side by the falls. So there's the falls right about here coming down, and the river goes down that way. And when you come into Rivendell, you're coming down into the valley, and then you get to here and you cross and you come this way. Well, this way is the stables, the merchants. Stables are way over there, and merchants are there. So that's very, very nice the way it's done. And then you also have a place down here where there were some crafting where you could craft higher level weapons, but they changed that with the legendary weapon system. But that was actually very cool. So one of the things I appreciate about the book, and I'll leaf through it because well, let me just get to that page. So you have the Rivendell overview, the homely house, inside the House of Elrond, which actually looks a lot like the Lord of the Rings house, which I pretty appreciate that. Arwen is in there, Elladan and Elrohir, Glorfindel, which I thought was very cool. Then you have the elves, the High Elves of Rivendell. In the core rule book, you have 6 cultures, because that's what it's called in Lord of the Rings 5e. They're cultures, they're not races, which is fine. I don't care. And they only have the Elves of Linden. Well, additional products will have other subcultures. This one has the High Elves of Rivendell. So not only is this screen really good, it's useful. I'll get to that. But having an extra thing, an extra subculture, actually really, really cool. And I'll talk about that more later. And it gives you some information. So this is very cool product right here. And I'll go over this again later. I'll bring it back. This screen, beautiful. Look at this. Do I have it? That's upside down. Okay, look at that. That looks like a shaman. Okay, you have your goblins. Yeah, right there. Looks like there's some. They're actually in a forest. I think it's Mirkwood, maybe. I don't know. It could be the Trollshalls. Who knows? Because it's basically Eregion or Erohir. I think one of the places. But anyway, you have your magical success, which is a different feature within the game. When you have a high skill roll, when you're making items, weapons, armor, you could have a magical success, which adds to the game, which is really cool. Encumbrance is important. Resting is different, a little bit. Shadow conditions. saving throws, just like thing, but you have a shadow mechanic, so you have saving throws against that. Shadow path flaws, which are pretty important. If you have a flaw, things can happen. So dragon, the one for treasure hunters, it's dragon sickness or dragon magnets or something like that. You just want treasure and you go crazy, kind of like what happened in The Hobbit. You have consoles, so typically in a game, you get a patron. So you could have Arwen wants you to do something, or Aragorn, who's now he's the king of Gondor, may have a mission for you. It could be Frodo. Who knows? It really depends. And then you go through the console, and then you have the end of the console, and then you get certain benefits. Just like, think of this as when Galadriel met with the Fellowship and gave them, advice and support through that advice, as well as giving them magic items, which I thought was really cool. A traveling company, the different roles. So what the One Ring and Adventures of Middle Earth and 5e does is they have a journey mechanic where each player has a different role: guide, hunter, lookout, scout, and it's broken down a little bit differently in the other role sets. But either way, the core of it is that they have a certain role, and they will roll a die to see what happens and whether or not you have a good or neutral or bad result. And depending on what happens, you could have an event, which could be an encounter. It could be a positive encounter. It could be just someone you ran on the road, or it could be, hey, you just got jumped, you got ambushed, you got to deal with it. And you could lose things. You could lose equipment. You can show up miserable, and it's just really, really cool because it cuts through. Like some D&D games, they run forever, and you're there going day by day slog. Some DMs just cut through all that and get to there. This adds a mechanic, so you'll get wherever you're going, and you could be tired, which that is going to affect how you get to the adventuring phase, which is where you're going through ruins, you're delivering goods, whatever it is, you're rescuing someone. That stuff happens. You have fatigue, so basically when you're exhausted. Event resolutions, how things go. You're determining the event, resolving the event. Sorry, and so this is a very, very nice. I mean, not only it has some really good tables in there, but look at that art. Oh my gosh! You have Legolas type character. You have Merry and Pippin over here. That could be Aragorn. Then you have the elf from The Hobbit, which I like the character, even though the movie could have been a lot better. You have your Gimli right here, so it's pretty cool. And then you have your orcs here, with the Morning Star and Sword of Mordor and bow. So it's really, really cool. Very cool. Oh yeah, and then you got your big troll. This guy's coming for you. Yeah. Wear your mithril. Okay. And the back's pretty cool. So that Rivendell book actually comes with this. So it comes together. So it's a really, really nice thing. I mean, having as a collector, I'm going to get it anyway. But having this supplement actually helps improve your game because it gives you the tables right there in front of you. Plus, you hide what you're doing behind the screen, and it gives you Rivendell, and which gives you the extra subculture and backgrounds. Which in Lord of the Rings 5e, each culture has its own backgrounds. So they have a set of backgrounds that you could pick within that culture, and you could pick it and enhance your character. So when you're building your character, you pick your culture, you pick your background, and then you have common or some cultures have virtues that you can pick, or they have virtues that are already built in the class or the culture. And then after that, you pick your class, and then your class gives you different abilities and enhancements and things like that. And just be aware, magic, there's no fireballs, there's no lightning bolts, there's no misty step, silvery barbs, things like that. This game is very subtle in its magic, and they have effects, and then basically everybody works together. For example, one of the classes has an ability where from 30 feet away, I'm going to use the help mechanic. And the way I see it in my head is that this character is taking a bow and an arrow and shooting at his feet. I, as a GM, wouldn't take the arrow away from the total number that the player has, because that's kind of silly. But, or it could be a rock. Something simple where it's like the orc or the troll or the evil humanoid is like, oh, and gets scared, and then your friend gets advantage to hit. So it's pretty cool. The core rulebook, gorgeous book. Gandalf the Grey with the owl, memorable from the Titans. But anyway, so the map, really, really nice. Again, Lord of the Rings online. Elves start here, dwarves start here, and then your hobbits start here. By the way, back in the day, Lord of the Rings online, one of the glitches was to make a lot of coin, was making strawberries and then selling them for profit. So it's one of the things that used to happen. But anyway, you have your lone lands, you have your Weathertops right there, and then Rivendell is here, Valley of Rivendell, and the Misty Mountains, and then right here is Moria, which is actually very cool. So you got a lot of the things that you can do. There's Rohan down there. There's Isengard. So this is and Lorien, Lothlorien. So this is all. This part, Lake Town is over here somewhere, and it's missing Mordor. So anyway, is it on the other inside? No, it's on the inside of the back cover. It's hexes. So you have hexes that'll help you get to where you need to go. So you'll know how far each is, and then it tells you what the different land types are and how you set your journey path. So this is a tool to set the journey, and setting the rolls and people rolling to see if they get there. But anyway, the art is amazing. Holy cow! Look at this. There's the Shire and the hobbits on their way out. The chapters have art throughout them. So you have your prologue, your structure of the game, your heroic cultures, your crafts, which crafts are kind of like your spells in some cases. There is a craft where you're making something, physical object, or you're making a magic item. However, crafts can also be like leech craft, which is your healing mechanic, or one of the healing mechanics, in the game. And again, magic is very subtle. So, and this right here has kind of a second edition feel. Whereas in second edition D&D, they had, clerics that can cast healing at range, or in some cases, or touch spells. This, you get hit. You're gonna have to be very careful, and you have to work together. Otherwise, characters are gonna just die because they don't have the high level of magic. And then healing is very, very sparse. So it's very cool in that it has some of that feeling into it. So I kind of like that. One of the classes can actually heal themselves as a I think either an action or a bonus action. That's outside of the fighter mechanic that a lot of us are familiar with in regular D&D 5e. Or the edition that we don't talk about, right? Okay. The fellowship phase, Middle Earth lore master part, adventuring, non-player characters. There's treasure in here, shadow points, which is something else. I'll get into it another time because it's pretty deep. Then you have your monster section, area door, which is the area that you're starting in, and then the patrons, which, as I was saying, that you have your councils, and these patrons are the people that send you out to do certain things. You have Balin, Bilbo, Círdan the Shipwright, Gandalf the Grey, Gilrian the Fair, Tom Bombadil, and Lady Goldberry, and they're both in here. It's pretty cool. You have new skills, explains the skills. Some of the skills are broken out a little bit. So, where survival is survival, you have explore, hunting, and travel. So they break those down, which they do a really good job. They also have this skill called riddle, which I kind of like. Figuring out different things. Magical successes, which I mentioned. Shadow of corruption, Rewards and virtues, I'll get to that in a minute. And then you have your adventurers, which you have your different cultures first. Bardings, Durin's folk, Elves of Linden, which, remember what I said about elves. Elves of Rivendell over there. Elves of Linden. So the core rule book only has the Elves of Linden. The supplement and the DM screen has the Elves of Rivendell, which is nice. It adds to it. You have your hobbits, and they do have different hobbits. You have your Men of Bree, your Rangers of the North, which are your Dunedain. Then you have your callings, which is basically your classes. And within each one, you have your subclasses. Captain, Champion, Messenger, which that's a new class for me. I looked through it. It's actually really cool. Very, very cool. Bard effects are spread between two different classes, and you can actually pick them up through those crafts I was talking about. Scholars, those are your magic users of the game, which again, it's very subtle magic. Treasure hunters, your rogue, and then your warden is another one of the fighters. So the game is very fighter heavy. There's 3 1d10 characters: champion, captain, 1d10 hit die characters. Wardens, champions, and captains all have a d10 hit die. So, something to think about. And then you have your crafts. Again, told you about that. Then you can have more than one calling. Talks about multi-classing your equipment. Depending on where you're from, you could have a prosperous, a common, or a frugal economic level, which will affect your starting equipment. I mean, you can make more as you play, but your starting equipment could be high or low depending on where you are within your own culture. Your equipment, look at that. That's beautiful. Look at that. By the way, pipes is a proficiency. I gotta read about that, see how that works. Not sure. Rewards and virtues. Rewards I haven't read about. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned, I've had this PDF for a while. When I first ordered this, when I first got the announcement that it was released. So I looked through some of it, but the rewards I haven't really dialed into too much. The virtues I have, which you have common virtues, and then you have virtues within each culture and subculture, which is very, very cool. Let's keep going. Ways of the Wild. Then you have the inventory phase. So this I haven't done deep yet. I'm going to get into that, and when I do, I'll probably release another video with that information. And I mean, look at this. Look at this. The Dead. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. This art. We know who that is, right? Yep. Looking for his precious. And then the Shadow talks about how it works. Dread, sources of shadow, different things. Here's the trolls. Oh, in Lord of the Rings Online, you actually go through the troll shalls and you run into the stone trolls, which is amazing. You can actually sit there underneath the stone trolls. That's one of the cool things about it. You have evil men, orcs, your adversaries in the game. The stat blocks, they're all here. They have different abilities. Your trolls, undead, which undead are nasty. I'm just saying. You even have werewolves. Werewolves, yo. Tell you what, no thank you, nameless things, which this allows you to create a beast of a creature. I mean, something that can wreck a party. So this has really nice rules about this. I actually did get to do this, look through that because of the adventure I'm going to run on the 28th of May, 5 o'clock, Immortals. Just saying. I have slots available if you guys are interested. The Eye of Mordor. All kinds of cool stuff. There's Cardolin. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. The world, the troll shawls, which I kind of like. Then you have appendix, which in the appendix you have your patrons' stat blocks. Here's Bilbo. Bilbo's is in here. There he is. There's Bilbo. Gandalf the Grey. Who's that? Cyrodiil the Shipwright. So all your patrons that you could run in the game. There he is, Mr. Bombadil, and his daughter Goldberry. Right there. Yep. Okay. But it's a very nice book. I really like this system. As much as I liked Adventures in Middle Earth, it was I don't know, it was something about it I like it. I think maybe it was because the DM I ran with it was not fun. I mean, it was what it was. But I'm really enjoying this. It's really nice, even though it is 5th edition SRD rules. The base, the core, because to build a character, you just use the character builder in the beginning of the player's handbook, and use stat by or roll or whatever, and then you build your character from that. Every culture in here has really good stat increases depending on what they favor and what fits them. So I really liked it. I don't think it's conducive to using Tasha's with this. So if you as a GM want to run this, I wouldn't allow Tasha's. I wouldn't even allow Xanathar's. I would just stay within the book to keep it true to what it is. And same for the player's handbook. Don't use feats. There's already virtues in here. Use the virtues in here, which are your feats. So that way it stays true to the game. That's my opinion. That's why you can run Dungeon Masters, Game Masters. You run the game you want. However, this I think needs to stay true to the IP, to the world, and they're going to have more products come out later, which I'm going to talk about one. But before we get to the next book, which I think was actually better than I thought it was going to be, but this is really nice. This is really nice. This is the map of the world. There's Linden. The Shire is in there. There's the Shire. Yeah. I think that's, there's the Shire right here. Here's Weathertop. You can't see it, sorry. Weathertop's right there. Oh, hold on. Let me adjust this real quick. Sorry, guys. Okay. There's Weathertop. Yep. And then Moria, Rivendell. There's Loudwater. And you turn it over. This was exciting. Even though I'm not a Hobbit fan, I'm not a Halfling fan, but this was amazing. Seeing this, you have Hobbiton right here. There's the Overhill. Where's Underhill? It's in here. There's Old Barton, Waywater, Needlehold. Where's that? Where's the hill? Old Barton, Overhill, Hobbiton. It's in there somewhere. Oh, Three Farthingstone, Fogmorton. Okay. And in Lord of the Rings Online, you have to start far east for most of your classes. Bree area is where you would start if you were men of Bree. But for elves, you start Linden way over there, and then here, I'll show you this way. So the elves of Linden, that's where the elves start. The dwarves start here. The Shire folk, Hobbiton, they start there. And then you head east. From the east, you go to the Lone Lands, and then you head out to Rivendell. And the cool thing about Lord of the Rings Online is I think I mentioned how it runs concurrently. So you're playing books and chapters within that book, and you'll get pieces of the Lord of the Rings story as you play. So it puts you through, and then you do run into that old farmer guy. Don't steal his crops. Farmer Maggot. Don't do it. And you run into him, which is kind of a cool quest. I'm not going to give it away. You have to play it yourself. And then Buckland. And then here's the Old Forest. You can get lost in this thing, so be careful. Don't fall asleep. And then it goes to Bree. So I assume there's going to be a product later for Bree. This is a very, very cool map, and you can hear it. It's real thick. For those of you that have the Forgotten Realms maps, this is a higher quality because it's parchment. So I really like it. Really excited about this. The next book I got that came with the set, the bundle that I got, was the Shire Adventures. Now, again, I'm not a Hobbit fan. I like Frodo, I like Bilbo, but just don't like halflings. That's just me. I think it's because of my experience with Kender. Nope, no Kender. That's what turned me off to hobbits, or I think. So here's that same map, but within the book, and in the back. Whoops, I don't want to give that away yet. And then another part, and then there's a quote from Bilbo right there, which is very cool. And there's another one there. I think it's the same one. Yeah, it's the same quote. Okay, the road goes ever on. Again, high quality paper. You can hear it, real nice. Um, regarding the Shire, regarding hobbits, brief history of the Shire, geography, West Farthing, South Farthing, North Farthing, East Farthing, Buckland, Old Forest. Introduction, there are pre-generated characters. I'll talk about that. And then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 5, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 adventures in here, which is very cool. Very, very cool. Look at that. Look at that art. Look at that art. That should be in a museum. That right there. That is amazing art. And whoever this person was, and I'm sorry I don't know who the artist is, but that is beautiful. And look at this. Those hobbits are going to war, beating up those orcs. The little guy there, the hobbitry in arms. I guess that's the hobbit army. Talks about Gandalf the Grey. There's another map here in the middle of the book, really pretty. Shire Journey Events table, so they has his own table for journeys within the Shire, which is nice. I want to get to, who is that? Workshop Bog, the Tookland. Wow, it gets real deep. North Farthing. There's a, oh shit, I have no idea. Have to figure that out. Anyway, so some of this is new, obviously, but towards the back, once you get through, there's let me show you this. This is actually nice. There's again, Tom. There's Miss Goldberry, his daughter, and then you have Old Man Willow, which Old Man Willow's a bad dude. There's his stat block. Yup, he can knock you out. Look at that art again. Oh my gosh, that is amazing art. So let me go to the back. I want to show you guys. Oh, look at that. The appendix. Look at that. That's Brandywine Bridge. The elves. I think that's the elves leaving. Yep. That's an elf. Yep. They're heading to the west. Drogo Baggins. I believe this is Daddy Baggins right here. Very, very cool. There's his character sheet. So you get a character. There's Esmeralda Took. She's a character. Let me go back. So Drogo, he is a messenger. Pretty cool. Esmeralda is a treasure hunter or rogue. You have the champion, Lobelia, what is it? Brace Girdle. She is a fighter level, or fighter style characters. D10. D10 die. Then you have the captain, which is also D10. So Paladin Took. I remember Paladin was pretty tough. Pretty tough person. Or hobbit. You have Primula Brandybuck. She's a scholar. There's your healer. You have Rormac Bandybuck. He's a warden. Also a fighter type. Then you have Bilbo. Treasure Hunter 6. Level 6 Treasure Hunter. And they do have sneak attack in this game, by the way, for you guys. And another class, 2 other classes get sneak attack. One doesn't need advantage to hit. There's a different condition, but I'm not going to spoil it right now. And the other one can activate it and use it once a day or something at sneak attack. Or once every long rest, I'm sorry. So, yeah, this is amazing. Love it. I can't tell you enough how much I enjoy these books. Well, I say books. How beautiful these books are. I've been reading the core rule book because I've had the PDF. I've been making characters with it. And, I can't say at a minimum, I think you should get, if anybody's going to get them, I think you should get the Lore Master screen and the core rule book at a minimum. Shire Adventures is cool. It's, get it. I'm a collector, so I get it all. But can't do wrong with this. Now, going back to the characters, I had said that I got the PDF. I had actually printed out a portion of the book off the PDF. Nice little picture of the fellowship with Good old Aragorn, Gandalf, and the rest right there. I actually printed off the adventures section, along with the cultures, the classes, or their callings in this game, and I was able to make some characters with it. And since there's only the Elves of Linden in here, I had to get the Elves of Linden in here. I couldn't use any other subculture for the elves. Now that I have the Rivendell book, I can create a new character for the game that I'm running on the 28th, 5 o'clock, Immortals Inc., Rocky River. Excuse me. And then, which is practice for me because I'm going to run the same game at Origins, which I do that every year. I go and run games Wednesdays and Thursdays. I run 4 games every year. It gives me my pre-pass, but it also, I meet new people. I get to run D&D. Well, I'm not running D&D this year. Other than this is the only 5e style product. All the other games I'm running are free league because I was going to do a boycott. OGL. Hello. We won't get into that, but I decided to go with the 5e Lord of the Rings because it's simple. Well, simple because I already know it, and I know other people know it, and I don't want to teach. I already got Symbaroum in my head. With Symbaroum, how in 5e you roll a die, you get that number or higher. Symbaroum's the opposite. Another thing Symbaroum does is that when you roll a die, or excuse me, only the players roll dice. The game master does not roll dice. So to hit, or excuse me, to avoid getting hit, to hit, and skill checks are all done by the players. Everything. So, if you have a trap, if you're trying to stealth, if somebody sees you, so you're trying to hit a certain number or below. So it's a pretty cool system. Blade Runner RPG and I think One Ring is the same. Alien RPG, which I absolutely adore because I love that IP. I mean, kind of way out there. Alien, Lord of the Rings, yeah. Anyway, 2 completely different IPs. Horror and fantasy, whatever. It's all a success-based system, so you roll a die to see how many successes you have. Our Alien RPGs is all about hitting a 6 on a d6, or if you're the game master who enjoys seeing different things happening, a 1 on a panic die is always fun, and love seeing players sweat. But anyway, Blade Runner, same thing, success mechanic. So, trying to learn all those different systems, it's a lot of information. So I went to what I already know. Plus, this does a really, really, really good job of presenting Lord of the Rings. Free League, Doug Shoot, you guys did a good job. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if it was Matthias. I have to look at the cover to see who was the architect of this. It says the architect. Let's see. Let's go to the other side. Lead writer was Francesco. Conversion was Michelle. Rules development Jacob. Yeah, these guys, they did an excellent job. Excellent job of how they did it. How they were able to convert it. Free League is an amazing publisher. If you can get on some of their games, hey, Tales from the Loop, I hear is really good. Basin's really good. But anyway, so I can't say enough about the system. If you really want to run Lord of the Rings and you don't want to relearn a system, you're already familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, the 5e SRD, this is it right here. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Please hit like or subscribe. I'm going to have links in the description to my Facebook pages. I have Northeast Ohio Gaming and Looking for Group, which is all where my events and announcements are done for the world in gaming. And then I have my 3D printing / GM page. I do run online games, as I said. Startplaying.com if you're interested in playing with me. I think I run some pretty good games. Right now I have openings for Ravenloft, which is an ongoing game. I have 3 slots open if you're interested. I also have other games that are up there. People want to schedule some times with me. That's right. If you want an in-person session, if you're in Northeast Ohio, give me a buzz. I'll come out and run an awesome game for you. You guys take care. Please like and subscribe. As I said, hit the bell. Please be safe while you're out there. Have fun. If you can, go outside. enjoy that sun. Please do, because it's cool. Playing in the park is nice. Festival in the Forest in the fall, September, I think. They run some really good games if you want to try that out. But playing D&D in the park can be fun as long as the wind's not blowing too hard and papers don't shuffle. All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Roll with it.